Hello, friends. This is Sam Cheney reporting for Weaponized News today, April 16th, 2025. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday edition of Weaponized News. A lot to go over today. I have a special announcement. Tomorrow we're going to have a very special guest, whistleblower from the California State Health Department, and it's going to be a good one. It's not going to be fit for YouTube because we're going to go through all things. He was in there during the medical intervention period. And so you guys don't want to miss that. I'm excited about it. Just got email confirmation a little bit before we came on the air today with you. And so we're going to blow the lid off the whole thing from an insider inside the beast of the California State Health Department. It's going to be freaking awesome. All right. What do we got today? We got madness. I don't know. 245% tariffs on China. If they don't negotiate something, I don't know. We're going in a full-on trade war with China. China said they don't even care. Do they care about, what was it, 125%? They didn't care. Do they care at 245%? I don't know. We're going to find out. We got the fraudulent top 100 most influential people of 2025 from Time Magazine. We'll go over that a little bit. From CIA, Time Magazine. Expose what a fraud it all is. What else do we got? Newsom. Governor Gavin Newsom of the golden state of California here. He's going to save us from Trump. Don't you worry. All right. He was meeting today, actually, in the Central Valley where I'm at, telling farmers how he's going to save us. And so I have full confidence that this con man, California psycho Gavin Newsom, will save us from the orange con man, Donald Trump. So we have that to look forward to as the Newsom administration sues the Trump administration. And so we do appreciate well-spent tax money. As I reported yesterday, what was it? Like almost $3 billion we need to borrow here in California, $2.8 billion, I think it was, to go ahead and fund illegal alien health insurance. So he's doing the right thing, don't you know? Gavin Newsom, our savior, the savior of California and all of America, actually. And what was he doing? It's just so beyond the pale of ridiculousness. How does anyone believe any of this? Maybe. I guess if you're not paying attention, I don't know. But if you're paying attention, you sure in the hell don't. Or you got serious brain damage, right? Too much fluoride? I don't know. Yesterday, Newsom, I trolled Newsom a little bit. I guess that's the only reason to be on social media is Newsom was saying, posting about how great parks are. I was like, yeah, dude, that was awesome when you closed all the parks during your lockdown and then filled in that skate park in Southern California. You guys remember that with he posted a picture of backhoe, something. I forget even what his post was. It was about cleaning up after the fires or something. Anyway, he had backhoes, and I was like, yeah, remember when you used backhoes to dump sand into the skate park? That was awesome, wasn't it? It's beyond the pale, man. I'm telling you. But he'll save us from Trump, so it's all forgiven. All of his transgressions against our rights are forgiven because he's saving us from Trump. We got video of Barry and Jody Ledgewood at a town hall, quasi town hall debate up there in Canada. We got video of that. Play some clips of that. Gold is all-time record high today. What was it? It closed. Gold is blowing up here. Let me look it up for you, give you the exact numbers here. Gold is at $3,346.51 as of right now, according to my app here that has all these different metrics for valuables out there in the world. So record high for gold. Yeah, and these 245% tariffs on Chinese goods. That's crazy, man. What else do we got? Kind of big news. I don't know. They changed the name so nobody even knows what it is anymore. But allegedly, the State Department under little Marco Rubio has closed it used to be counter foreign, or no, I guess it is now. It used to be Global Engagement Center, GCE. They were the head misinformation cops on the interwebs, banning everybody, right? But then they changed their name, which I didn't even know until I read this report, to Counter Foreign Information Manipulation and Interference. That's that weird headline at the tail of this. R/FIMI. Anyway, there were the internet censors from the government literally violating our First Amendment here, directing the big tech. I don't think they took much of an arm twisting, honestly, because they're all in bed together anyway at the end of the day. But allegedly, they twisted the arm of big tech to censor and ban a bunch of people, myself included, for questioning the election, for questioning public health policy, and so on, and other things, I guess. But those are the two big ones. So they're officially shut down today. Will it even make a difference? I think they have they got all the buttons in place on the interwebs, and so hey, they don't need the government even anymore. It's all dialed in with AI. There you go. Information is going to become harder and harder to come by here as they continue to turn the screws on the scientific dictatorship technocracy, and they're scrubbing the hell out of the internet. They have been for years, but they know that. So get your hard copies of books, of CDs, DVDs, whatever, anything you can have hard copy offline, off the internet, to be able to verify facts, because they'll go in there, change it, spin it, whatever, you know what I mean, to fit the new current thing narrative. And just because they shut it down allegedly here at the State Department, these global censors don't think it's going to stop. It's just picking up pace right now. Okay. What else do we got today? More comings and goings of the government. IRS news. I guess we got a new interim head of the IRS. I know, what would we do without it? Should just go ahead and shut the doors on the whole thing. And what else do we got? We do have a shocking statement out of the White House Science and Technology Department. The director there, we'll get to that. They say the White House reveals tech to manipulate time and space. They didn't reveal tech. Is this the director of it says that America has it? I don't know. They freaking lie about everything. Who knows? Who knows, honestly? If they're lying, telling the truth, is this guy a freaking, yeah, who knows? But anyway, we'll report it to you what they're saying. The swatting continues, and we'll get to that. They swatted prominent and probably one of my favorite and probably one of the best, if not the best at this time, actual journalists and reporters and investigative journalists in the country, Cheryl Atkinson. She's reported she was swatted yesterday. It's quite horrific crime they're doing against people. So we got that. We got a little public health news. Apparently, the medical intervention's over, according to the CDC. So I guess we cured the bat disease. I don't know. We'll go to a report about that. Very underreported. I posted it last night when I saw it, but I'm like thrall, shadow banned, and nothing. So like 5 people on. No, realistically, I have almost 12,000. I don't know, 11,000, almost 12,000 alleged followers on X. Like literally 50 people see my posts. It's whatever, dude. But I did report it as soon as I saw it last night. The World Health Organization finalizes pandemic accord without United States participation. We'll get into that. Will we just circle back? Will they just circle back in another 3 years and 9 months, whatever it is, when a Democrat administration or even Republican, anybody, or Trump gets, 25th Amendment, whatever. When somebody else is in there and they put us back in the WHO, are we now under it? I don't know. Probably. But so that the pandemic accord that we've been warning about, everybody has been for a long time, that you're going to wind up giving up your sovereignty next time they declare a medical, what do they call it? A medical emergency of international concern, I think is what the WHO calls it. Whenever they say, we're going to save you again. Every time. How many times have they saved us? Like literally every time you walk out the door, there's germs. And if it wasn't for the WHO, But anyway, yeah. So now, what is it? 194 countries? Not good, man. Not good. Over 190. I don't know. There's different reports about it. The WHO's happy. So it's kind of big, very underreported. Ukraine, the greatest democracy there in Europe, has extended martial law and won't have elections again. Extended martial law until August of this year, August 6th, with still no elections. But if you say, hey, they're a dictatorship, man, they'll scream Nazi and scream democracy in their face. But I don't even want to get into it. We've went over it and over it and over it. It's just mind-numbingly stupid at this point. Okay. What is going on in Aardvark land? Well, even Aardvarks are coming out against it now. It's getting that bad. You've got, what do we got? Report out of the BBC, 36 members of the Board of Deputies of British Aardvarks said they cannot turn a blind eye or remain silent at the renewed loss of life and livelihoods as a result of Aardvark land's renewed offensive in Gaza. But hell, we'll deport you probably soon here in the United States if you question it. Next level tyranny, man. Aardvark say they will keep troops in Gaza, Lebanon, and Syria indefinitely. Oh, they're not occupying that land and building out the Greater Aardvark Land Project, exactly like we told you from freaking day one when they started this. Now they're admitting it. They've been admitting it, but now it's admitted again. Here's AP reporting it. Who cares? All that land's always been Aardvark land, is what they'll tell us. It's just no end to this, to the war crimes, man, and the lies and the propaganda. Anyway, we'll get to all that and more on this Wednesday edition of Weaponized News. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Let's see, who do we got in the chat? Barry's there. Oh, Karen made it back from the doctor. Good to see you here, Karen. I hope they treated you well. They say you don't know how I do it and stay remotely sane. Well, I like to be informed, but some of the stuff just is maddening. After a while, it's just a replay of the same. But after a while, you could totally. I mean, it's like you can see right through it. Right through all the propaganda and lies. Anyway, like a lot of people now, I'm noticing a lot on the interwebs are saying that whole Origin Blue space launch with Katy Perry and the rest of them, like everybody's saying it's fake. So their psyops are getting worse. Actually, we demand better psyops for as much taxes as we pay, but their psyops are getting a lot worse, sloppier, or they don't even care and they're just mocking us. But they're not working because a lot of people are saying this is BS, fake. You know what I mean? So it's like, and I don't even really understand what the whole purpose of that whole thing was. Woman power, Bezos is going to space, give him some more billions. I don't even know what it was all about. Rich people get to go to space and screw you little people. You know what I mean? I don't know. But a very large majority from what I've seen has said this whole thing's fake. That one, we played the CGI. It is freaking CGI. It's fake, right? I mean, from their own website, from Origin Blue on X. They post that video. It looks like a freaking cartoon, dude. You know what I mean? And just all kind of stupid stuff. I don't even want to get into, what was that, Monday? So that's already old news, but that's good news that people out there on the interwebs are saying, wait a minute, this is garbage. You know what I mean? So maybe now if we can just get people to wake up to the fact that the political system is garbage, then maybe we'd be getting somewhere. You know what I mean? If we can get people to grasp the concept, I know it's difficult, that it's the Republicans and Democrats. It don't matter. It's the government, man. If we can get people to grasp, it's a simple concept, but that's what the whole thing is. The media apparatus is to divide us, right? And so if we could ever get people to I know their minds are damaged by all the bad medicine, the fluoride, all the toxins in the environment, the food, water, air, medicine, but it's not that hard of a concept to grasp if we can just say, hey, these guys in government are wielding undue power, violating all of our rights, regardless of whatever. You go all the way from priest, conservative, to freaking left-wing, rainbow flag waving, whatever the nunchuck, right? Whatever the hell you want to identify as. And they're violating all of our rights the same, right? If we could all just wrap our mind around that and say, hey, this is a small group of people who claim they have power under the authority of government that allegedly is representing us, and it's not, then it's the 99 against the 1, right? I mean, that's what Wall Street, what was it? Occupy Wall Street had that right. It's even less than that, actually. But for simplicity's sake, just say the 99% against the 1%. And it's even worse than that. But they had that right. I didn't really agree with. I agree with some of what they're saying, but they're pretty far socialist communist for me, for my liking. But anyway, I think they had that right. And if we could just get back to that, hey, it's us 99 against you 1, and you guys are doing nothing but lying. I mean, sorry about this rant, but man, this stuff's getting fired up because people can wake up to the fake rocket launch, wake up to the fake politics and your fake government. All right. On this day in history of April 16th, going back to the year 1861, business with Confederate states was outlawed due to the Civil War by Abraham Lincoln. In 1862, American Confederate Congress approves conscription. It approves its Conscription Act for all white males aged 18 to 35 to join up and die for your country. in the Civil War. In 1922, for you women's out there in the audience, Annie Oakley sets woman's shooting record by breaking 100 clay targets in a row. That's pretty damn good shooting, I must say. Annie Oakley, 1922. In 1943, Swiss scientist Dr. Albert Hofmann discovers the psychedelic effects of LSD. Trippy, man, right? And then our intelligence agencies, specifically the CIA, went on to use it in mind control experiments against the American people. So don't you just love that? In 1945, the Soviet army raised its flag over the Reichstag in Berlin on this day. In 2015, Elizabeth Holmes, CEO of Theranos at the time, was named to Time Magazine's, what do they call it? And this is showing Time Magazine's the 100 most influential people of 2015. Subsequently, she was convicted of fraud and sentenced to over 10 years in prison for defrauding investors. But hell, Time Magazine told me she's a freaking 100 most influential person. You know what I mean? That's just one example of what a fraud all this is. The front that the intelligence agency, freaking Time Magazine, is the freaking CIA, basically. You know what I'm saying? And it shows you what a fraud, one more time, that it all is. Her story. There's many others, but that one just stuck out to me today because I have this year's 100 most influential people of 2025 to go over with you. And so 10 years ago, well, don't you know Elizabeth Holmes, her company's inventing this blood testing software, and they're going to cure all diseases. Well, turns out she was lying and defrauded investors and got sentenced to 13 years in prison. Do we get an apology from Time Magazine? No. Oh, sorry, we put a fraud up there as one of our 100 most influential people, a straight up convicted fraud. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They just laugh in your face and expect, I guess, I don't know. Does anybody read Time Magazine anymore? I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't even report on it and it would just go away. I don't know. Okay. 2022, on this day of April 16th, very bad day for the economy and employment as we're locked down for our own good, deemed non-essential. 22 million Americans on this day in 2020 filed for unemployment in the past 4 weeks. So that was March 16th to April 16th, say 4 weeks, right? 5.2 million in the last week of 2020 had lost their jobs and were forced to file for unemployment due to being deemed unessential by our government. That job loss wiped out 9.5 years of job gains in the economy. But hey, they kept everybody safe by locking us down, right? 2 weeks. 2 weeks to flatten the curve, 15 days. It went on for 2 years, 2.5 years. Remember that? Seems that we have a short memory and we're not going to remember that. I'm never going to let people forget my whole life about this, what all went on. You would think it was one thing that could unify us because it affected us all. But, of course, again, they divided us. Okay, do I even have a transition here? I don't even think I have a transition. Shall we just get right to the news? Oh, it's National Librarian Day. And so we should probably protest this day because we know reading books is a conspiracy theory. And I don't know, maybe they'll attack libraries, to shut down the conspiracy theory centers in this country. But it's National Librarian Day. So thank you, librarians, for keeping conspiracy theories alive and advocating that people read. It's horrible, I know. We don't even have a video transition. Let's just get right. I got to repost quickly, and we'll stay live here with you to do that. But just let me repost and remind everybody that we are live here on the X for whatever good it will do. Maybe we'll get a few more viewers on here. Again, reminder for those who just joined us, we will be having a very special show tomorrow with a whistleblower from the California State Health Department to tell us the inside story of what all went on during the medical intervention. He has a very interesting tale to tell, and it's right from the source, right from inside the California State Health Department. Don't miss tomorrow's broadcast, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 Eastern District Time. It's going to be one of the best, the greatest weaponized news shows ever. Undeniable fact from an insider. Don't miss it tomorrow. All right, let's get right to the news then. Here is the aforementioned, the 100 most influential people of 2025 Time Magazine CIA front. We're going to spend that much time on it, but I wanted to point out one specific individual here. So we'll just scroll through it so you guys can see the actors, the singers, whoop-de-freaking-do. I guess some of them have talent, whatever, dude. None of them really blow my dress up, you know what I mean, at this point in time. She's old, still trying to look sexy. I guess she is for an older woman. I don't know, weird, kind of. I don't know. This freaking clown, top propagandist at ABC News, talks all serious, tells America a bunch of lies. Let's see who else we got. Half these people I don't even know, honestly. Maybe I'm old and I'm just not hip. The leaders of the world, Keir Starmer, freaking Fabian socialist, of course, Hispanic Scheinbaum out of Mexico, and Orange Man Bad out of America, Trump there. His hair is a little messed up there. I don't know if they gave him the most flattering picture. Leaders, I don't even know who this woman is. Of course, Musk. Trump's handler, Lutnick. Of course, the world's greatest doctor. He's not even a doctor. Who freaking cares, right? He's my doctor. Freaking Tedros. And then Mr. Black Eyeliner, J.D. Vance. Freaking clown show. Megyn Kelly with MK Media, her new media company. Literally mind control media. Bobby Kennedy Jr., conspiracy theorist, ex-heroin addict. That's how they always say that at the beginning of articles about him, smearing them. It's pretty damn funny, I think. Yeah, I don't even know who these people are. I'm out of the loop. Of course, Mr. Chainsaw there, Aardvark himself, anarcho-capitalist, libertarian hero of Aardvark fame, Javier Milei. This freaking guy, he's a moderate radical jihadist that just never happens to attack the Aardvarks. Of course, the new head of Syria there. It's beyond ridiculousness. Is she a man or a woman? I don't know. There's a lot of posts. I don't even get into it. It's like, whatever, dude. That's the least of our problems. There's always people saying, there's all these women out there. They're actually men. I'm like, yeah, maybe they are. I don't know. Whatever, dude. I don't got time for all that. She is particularly masculine and muscular, but whatever. She's a world-class athlete. I wouldn't take that away from her. But anyway, maybe she is a man. I don't know. Honestly, don't know. This one I know. She's a good gymnast, but very, woke politically. So whatever, dude. Who else we got here? Zuckerberg. He's a bro now. So who cares if he censored you, banned you, deleted your account, gave all your data to U.S. government, Chinese government, basically anybody that wants it, that's pay for it. He'll sell your data, sell it out from underneath you, social engineer, mind control you. And so he's all around good guy. Zuckerberg there, Joe Rogan, whatever, dude. He's a comedian. I don't know, says some good stuff. A lot of people say he's a gatekeeper. Probably is. Whatever, dude. This is the guy, Alex Karp. This is the guy right here, CEO of Palantir. Everybody should know this guy right here because they're rolling out weaponized AI control systems in front of our face at the IRS, at the freaking everywhere, all over our government, right? Signing contracts with Doge, with NATO. They're targeting people in the Aardvark genocide using their software, 6 degrees of separation. If you talk to somebody down the line 6 degrees that could have talked to Hamas, then you're labeled a terrorist, and don't think they won't bring that back here home. They're already implementing it in our government. Palantir AI, weaponized AI, essentially, for the scientific dictatorship technocracy. Alex Karp of Palantir, CEO. So that's the guy right there that we should all be extremely concerned about. Of course, this guy, ADL, loves attacking people for being anti-Semitic. Well, he's behind many anti-Semitic attacks and so on. ADL head there, Jonathan Greenblatt. What a piece of garbage this guy is. Who else do we got? I don't even know any of these people. I'm just not hip. I'm out of the loop, I guess. Snoop Dogg's an innovator. Snoop Dogg friggin' sucks, all right? Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, basically owns the friggin' world through fraud, manipulation, and so on. But he's great. He's a top 100 innovator at stealing your money. I don't even know any of these other people. Anyway, that's where it's at. And I wanted to point out Alex Karp actually is the most concerning one that everybody should know and take a look about what Palantir is doing. They're moving fast right now, and it ain't nothing nice. It's very freaking dystopic, like right out of Terminator Skynet. You know what I'm saying? Here he is. Nice little profile of Alex Karp. It ain't nothing nice, man. It ain't nothing nice at all. Okay. Here is Palantir, too, by the way. They brag. What do they got? I don't know. Maybe if you want to go work for the scientific dictatorship, hell, we'll plug them even. The future is here, Palantir says, launching a wave of AI native unicorns powered by Palantir. And so they're going to monopolize the AI space. Of course, the Palantir Startup Fellowship is now live. This is a 6-week program is designed to accelerate a select group of startups alongside our world-class engineers, all working with the government. Basically, they are the government. And they're going to suck up all that talent and monopolize it and weaponize it against us. And then here they're bragging about, oh yeah, we're hooking up with NATO, as we previously reported. But this is extremely concerning, and I don't think people are getting upset about this enough. NATO and Palantir signed contract for AI embedded warfighting system. This is some some next level technocracy, scientific dictatorship, Skynet right here, man. There it is. Ain't nothing nice. It's your dystopic sci-fi movies. Okay. So if you've been warning about that, we'll continue to warn about it. Go take a look at it. Do your own research about it. Maybe you love it. Maybe you think Palantir's keeping us safe. I'm skeptical, to say the least, about their intentions. Okay. Whistleblower accuses Doge of letting Russians, we're back to Russia. Maybe they all are Russians. I don't know. We did have that big federal investigation. You would think more would have come out under the Mueller investigation. You know what I'm saying? Whistleblower accuses Doge of letting Russians access government accounts in shock security breach. Let's watch this report. I don't know what we could, CNN, but what the hell? Let's play it anyway. See what they got to say about it.
Claims, which obviously were made public when you came forward and went to Congress. At this statement, quote, "It is months-old news that President Trump signed an executive order to hire Doge employees at agencies and coordinate data sharing. Their highly qualified team has been extremely public and transparent in its efforts to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse across the executive branch, including the National Labor Relations Board," unquote. What's your response to that?
So I believe that if that was true, we would have access to the code that they're running. We would be able to see these things that they're hiding. I don't believe that there's transparency, and that's all I'm asking for here.
And Andrew, give us the view, the 30,000-foot view here, because obviously this data could be beneficial to others, either corporations or even a foreign actor with malign intention. How do you know that?
So we know that because the information that the National Labor Relations Board looks at are basically corporate documents and things that involve unions. So there's a lot of sensitive corporate information that is included within this, which yes could be of interest to Elon Musk, but at the same time they're of interest to our foreign adversaries. I'd like to step back for a moment and talk about what the larger implication is here. So this is happening at the NLRB, at the National Labor Relations Board, but Dan is brave enough to come forward, and there are others within the government that I've talked to and that we've talked to who have seen something identical as this. There are two data points that I want to point out that should give everybody pause. The first thing, what Dan witnessed, was that within 15 minutes of Doge employees creating user accounts, i.e. usernames and passwords, within 15 minutes of those accounts being created, somebody or something from Russia tried to log in with the right username and right passwords, that is to say, the right credentials. And that happened over 20 times. The second data point, which is really critical, is that Doge has also been using Starlink as a means to exfiltrate data. What that means is that, from our understanding, that Russia has a direct pipeline of information through Starlink, which means that anything going through Starlink is going to Russia. We also know that this is not unique to the NLRB. This is happening government-wide. And then the other thing that I wanted to flag for everybody is that right now, and I don't want to say that this is intentional, it could very well have been a mistake, is that critical infrastructure databases in many government agencies, as we understand it, have been exposed to the open internet, which includes critical databases at the Department of Energy, which includes a lot of our nuclear regulatory agency material. So right now, the real concern is that this is not unlike Chernobyl and all of the control panels lighting up after the meltdown. This is serious, and I just want to commend Dan for coming forward to bring this to everybody's attention, because this really is the tip of the iceberg.
Is it really going to Russia? Maybe. I don't know. Is it probably going to Aardvark land too? Probably going to China too. Shit. You know what I mean? I see Bob had a tooth out. Well, we'll pray for you, Bob. I'll pray that you can have some healing with that bad tooth. Okay, so did Trump get a Musk brain chip program to be Putin? I don't know. Putin praises Elon Musk, compares him to the father of Soviet space program. Again with the Russia. It's kind of burnt out on it, but Putin yesterday praised Elon Musk, comparing him to Sergei Korolev, the chief engineer behind the Soviet Union's space success. Have you ever seen some of their videos of alleged, their videos look even worse than ours as far as how fake it is. Anyway, yeah. Trigger warning for this report out of the Wall Street Journal. I started shaking when I read it, but I'm going to read it to you anyway. Trigger warning. UK Supreme Court rules trans women can't be defined as women. The decision follows a years-long legal battle over protections for women and female-only spaces. I know it's hard to grasp. It's hard to grasp. I'm triggered by it as well, so I'll take it off the screen now so you don't have to suffer anymore. UK Supreme Court, they're not biologists, right? So how do they know what a woman is? Shout out to Carrie. She was reading my mind because, or great minds think alike or something like that, however it goes. She tagged me on a Catherine Austin Fitts post, and a little bit before that, I had the idea popped in my mind, hey, having looked at Solara report, Catherine Austin Fitts in a couple of weeks, let's go take a look and see what she's talking about. Always interesting and informative. So we're syncing up here, Carrie. Coincidentally enough, maybe we got that whole Musk, Putin, Trump brain chip implanted to sync up. And we didn't even know it when we were asleep, right? But the nanobots crawled in our ears. No, seriously here, though. Catherine Austin Fitts, I'll put it on the screen here. She says, she's saying, or the Solara report, her outfit is saying no investigations or prosecutions of the people who stole $21 trillion. Question mark? Where's it at? Protection of people who stole our privacy, law-protected data to increase the value of their private AI companies. How is this the best investment of our tax dollars? And the Epstein files are where? Huh? Well, at least we're getting the Tesla terrorist. And I think we're going to try to provoke another one maybe here later in the show, thanks to Ruckus, thanks to his efforts. Okay, this is the workaround about the whole real ID. I wasn't going to get it anyway. I don't care if they said you can't drive. I don't care what they say. I'm not getting it just because they're freaking tyrannical maniacs. I won't comply, and that's my freaking line in the sand. Many other lines in the sand as well, but that's a big one. That's a big one. So about the real ID, the Solara report says Americans can use one of 15 other TSA acceptable IDs to fly, including passports. On May 7th, TSA expected to begin 2 years of phased enforcement, likely no denials. Real ID is an unconstitutional federal usurpation of states' rights and individual rights. Hell yeah, it is. DMVs plan to digitize Real ID on phones with remote real-time access to it. AAMVA testimony. Does a digitized national ID open the door to social credit score system in America? Better damn well bet it does. And yeah, it's not secure. How many freaking hacks have we seen? Everything is hackable that's digital. No matter how much they lie and say it isn't, it is. All right. So yeah, it's a total disaster. A total freaking disaster. And the government lies to you and tries to pressure you. But it smoked out a lot of shills. A lot of Republican, conservative, whatever they are, clown world shills that support the Trump administration smoked a lot of them out. And they're like, just get it. It's for patriotism. And it's like, no, you're a government propaganda shill piece of trash, and you make me want to throw up. Anybody supporting this garbage. Okay, here is the aforementioned clip that Carrie sent me. It's a short video, like a minute, and they make some good points where they ask, is Doge money going to Aardvark land? I don't know. Would they do that? I don't know. Where's the 21 trillion? I don't know. Oh, sorry for the commercial.
We all remember what happened during COVID. Ivermectin,
Do we remember?
safe drug that had been used.
Sorry for that
Is
commercial.
Doge really, can you take it at face value, or is there another agenda here? Because remember, just yesterday, I think Doge, they're on board with the $1 trillion budget for the Pentagon.
Right. So you have the Pentagon saying they want $1 trillion, but you also have, a lot of the money they cut early. You suddenly upped the amount you were sending to Israel. Boom. And that's why Massey, I think, is saying, I want to know that money's going back to Treasury. I'm not sure it is.
Yeah, you got people complaining, it's $60 billion to Ukraine, but they're silent about the $350 billion that's gone to Israel since 1948. Utterly silent about that. And it's like, well, if you're going to complain about Ukraine, and you should complain about that, I do, then be on it, be intellectually thorough and consistent, and complain about Israel too. But oh no, they're special.
Yeah, well, we should end all foreign aid. How about that? We don't discriminate. End it all. End it all. I thought this was funny. Americans for Tax Reform post. Sean Hannity rips tax hike. So they're alleging here now that the Trump administration is going to tax the rich, like Bernie Sanders. Eat the rich, tax the rich. Everything's free. But Sean Hannity is a multimillionaire for being a war propagandist and a sellout, posing as a patriot. Anyway, he's not happy here. He says, I just think it is bad for the economy. It seems to go against everything Donald Trump has ever believed in. I've been reading some of the things you've been reading, and frankly, I just haven't been believing it. Pretty unbelievable, to be honest. And he's talking about 40% tax rate for Hannity's tax bracket. I hope you tax him into nothingness. He's a freaking complicit in war crimes. Hannity loves the wars, man. Makes me want to throw up. I thought it was funny. Anyway, I think stupid stuff's funny. Okay, on to my Lord and Savior. I have a little shrine over here. I'm starting a campaign so I can get more gel for my hair to mirror Gavin Newsom, my dictator in California here. California is the first state to sue Trump on tariffs. It's Gavin Newsom. It's the most direct move against Trump since Trump took office, Politico tells us. Put it up here on the screen. I know. Yep. Literal psychopaths are fighting about how much they're going to charge us for freaking car parts. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, man, I hate all of these guys. I hate Trump. I hate this guy, all of them. The entire government, actually. I've real disdain in my heart for these people. And I shouldn't have it. I'm getting over it. I'm getting over it. I'm getting over it. I'm not going to get mad. You know what I mean? But using taxpayer money, the Newsom administration here in Sacramento is now suing the Trump administration. And of course, they're posing posing up. See, I don't know how now they keep citing this fifth largest economy in California. Allegedly, we reported what last week or 2 weeks ago. I don't know. Time flies, but India surpassed California, I do believe, in GDP. I don't know. They go back and forth. Whatever, dude. So California, the alleged now fifth largest economy in the world, stands to lose billions of dollars to tariffs, with major state industries from Silicon Valley to agriculture heavily dependent on global trade. They literally shut the water off. The state of California literally shut the water off and fallowed the grounds here in the Central Valley. I know farmers personally that had to rip out their freaking almond orchards because they didn't have any water because the state government wouldn't give them any, supposedly to protect this Delta smelt fish. It's just, if you live here, you follow the whole thing, and it's just so maddening. And before that, it was what, I don't even want to get into it anyway. They don't care about the farmer. They know the farmers all vote, are all conservative and all vote Republican. The Democrats are punishing them, and it's part of Agenda 21, Agenda 2030 as well. But now they're going to act like they care about the farmers when it's politically advantageous after they've been screwing them over for the last 20 years, even longer than that. Just so fake, it makes me want to throw up. But we have video. Oh, you wanted video of our Lord and Savior Newsom? Well, you got it.
Today, I announced a lawsuit on behalf of the state of California suing the Trump administration. California is the largest manufacturing state in our union, one of the largest trading partners around the globe. No state will be impacted more than the state of California as it relates to the unilateral authority that's being asserted by the Trump administration to impose the largest tax increase in modern American history.
Newsom's going to save us. You're safe to come here, Barry, fleeing political persecution there in Canada. We got your back here in California. Newsom made that announcement. Here, look at this. Both these guys are positioning to run for Democrat 2028. Rahm Emanuel and Gavin Newsom because Gavin Newsom's an info warrior now. He has his own podcast. This is Gavin Newsom. Here he is. Is that Rahm Emanuel? Maybe it's not. I think it is. He's getting old. Maybe I'm mistaken. Anyway, whoever this guy is, I think it was Rahm Emanuel. Listen to this, what they got to say about it. Newsom's a bro. He's an info warrior. He's one of us. Even though he's a literal psychopath that will do anything for power. Forget about that. He cares about us.
California is the biggest manufacturing state in America. People forget that. California is number one in two-way trade, number one in direct foreign investment, and number one manufacturing state in America. 40% of the goods movements in this country come through two ports of entry in California, about 50% of that from China itself. No state has more to lose, more to gain as it relates to ag, as it relates to all of these industries and tech, as you noted, AI, et cetera. So that's, by the way, why we just filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration. And we did it on, I think, very sound grounds. And it's an interesting lawsuit for many different reasons, but we've got to push back much more aggressively on the consequences of this.
There you go. Was that? I think that was Rahm Emanuel, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, they're both going to be running. He famously never let a good crisis go to waste. I don't know. A lot of people always say, maybe Hillary said it too, but I remember when old Rahm Emanuel said that as chief of staff under the Obama administration. Here's some more lies. You didn't have enough lies from Newsom. Here's some more lies. This is a press conference from today in the Central Valley where I'm at, acting like he cares about farmers.
No other state will be more impacted by the impacts of this, as Christine said, uncertainty that is best described as toxic uncertainty because of these tariffs. Let me underscore that with more consideration and context to where we are. We are also the largest hunting, fishing, agriculture, and forestry state in this nation, 150% larger than the next state, Texas. When folks talk to us about the impacts, regional impacts of rural economies, you're talking about California. You're not just talking about the Midwest and places like Texas. You're talking about our state, the state of California. Almonds you see around us, export dependent. Pistachios, export dependent.
They literally stopped the water and freaking fouled the land. And I know farmers personally that had to tear out their pistachio and freaking almond orchards, dude.
Dairy, export dependent. In fact, 43% of almonds and pistachios and dairy are export dependent in the state of California. Few industries will be hammered more than the toxic uncertainty of these Trump.
Toxic uncertainty. There's another clip. Let me find it real quick. Where Newsom saying he's like I'm a poor dude just like you. I'm Joe Blow bro just like you. Let me find it here quickly. And it's like, dude, you grew up as the freaking Getty's unofficial freaking stepson, and you're gonna tell us, oh, you're just Joe Blow, just like me and you, just Joe Blow, right? Is this the clip? I think this is the one. This is a good clip, but anyway, he did say it. I remember watching. Maybe it was in a longer clip, but this is a funny short one, and we'll move on. But he's like, yeah, I'm running businesses over here. Remember, Newsom, when you deemed everybody else's business unessential, but yet yours was unaffected. Plump Jack Winery was unaffected by the lockdowns that you imposed. But he's like, I'm a small business owner just like you guys. He literally grew up with the Gettys, like the richest family in the world at that time, and still like right up there, right? So like, yeah, he's just Joe Blow like me and you.
Donald Trump is betraying the people of the Central Valley. He is betraying the people that supported him. Donald Trump has turned his back on his supporters. We will not turn our back on those that supported Donald Trump. We will have their back. Donald Trump is betraying the people.
There you go. See? Newsom will save us from Trump. He's got our back now. Until the next opportunity for tyranny comes along. And then he'll turn the screws on us. Better make no mistake about it. All right. Yeah, halftime. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Barry, for that. Let's go to our sponsor, Abazaba Enterprises.
Running a small business feeling overwhelmed by numbers and paperwork? Abazaba Enterprises has your back. Our expert business solutions include accounting, QuickBooks support, payroll, taxes, and top-notch consulting. Let us handle the details so you can focus on growing your business. Business Solutions Accounting, QuickBooks, Consulting, Payroll, Taxes. Call 559-577-9250. Call Abazaba Enterprises today at 559-577-9250.
And we're back. So one thing I didn't realize that I noticed now when I made that commercial is the Weaponized News logo in the top corner of the screen blocks out some of the wording there. So I may have to adjust it. But thank you for joining us on this Wednesday edition of Weaponized News as we go into the second hour here. We always seem to pick up steam on the X as we progress. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on Odysee, Bitchute, Kick, X, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Rumble. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here. How much more do we have left? Yeah, we got a little bit more to cover. I'm going to stop ranting and raving and get to the news. Tesla's market share decline in California, a turning point for electric vehicles, battery-powered cars. Tesla vehicle registrations in California have seen a significant decline, dropping by 15.1% in the first quarter of 2025 compared to the same period in the previous year. This marks the sixth consecutive quarter of decline for Tesla in the key market, where they basically are they're trying to say in California, either buy an electric car or your gas-powered car is outlawed. We're going to outlaw gas, essentially. Petrol. With its market share of electric vehicles, battery-powered vehicles, decreasing from 55.5% to 43.9%, despite an overall increase in new car registrations in California by 8.3%. Tesla sales have been negatively impacted by increased competition and from other electric vehicle manufacturers, battery-powered car manufacturers, and public reactions to Elon Musk's political activities. You're really letting politics, I guess a large majority of people do, dictate what do you need an automobile for to get from point A to point B? I guess some people are collectible, go cruising. I don't know. I use my vehicles point A to point B. It beats walking. But hell, let's get all political about it. That goes to Ruckus. Shout out to Ruckus. Ruckus put a weaponized news sticker on his Cybertruck. Now, I don't think this is his, and I'm pretty sure it's Photoshop. But however the case may be, we're trying a different way to raise money. And so we need you to go ahead and send an environmentalist to attack this Cybertruck. And then we're going to spend weeks upon weeks saying how we're the victim and they're domestic terrorists. And we're going to start a GoFundMe or a Give, Send, Go and raise millions of dollars for our suffering. Could work, right? Just kidding. That was parody. Look at Karen. Karen, look who's on the show. Leia. Wow, 100 more people just joined. No. But the cat has decided to join the show. I hope it doesn't jump on my head and mess up my hair. That would be terrible, wouldn't it? Okay. Ontario's, back to Canada, Barry. Ontario's Free Trade with Canada Act. Ontario has introduced the Protect Ontario Through Free Trade Within Canada Act, aimed at dismantling international trade barriers across Canadian provinces to boost economic integration. This initiative includes agreements with Nova Scotia and New Brunswick to ease trade and labor mobility. The legislation supports businesses with a $50 million fund for domestic trade and has received endorsements from various political leaders. The goal is to enhance Canada's economic competitiveness by reducing intra-provincial trade restrictions, thereby fostering a more unified national market. I didn't even realize that they had such a thing there in Canada. It's called free markets. Okay, let's hear now from our favorite banker up north, Mark Carney, the unelected dictator, new dictator, where he openly, well, you'll see it. He openly says that carbon taxes don't help. Who cares? We like you being poor. He doesn't say that, but read between the lines.
If you look at the emissions reductions that come from the consumer carbon tax alone, it's about 6% of the overall emissions reduction. So it's something, but it's not very much. And so the vast majority of emission reduction work is being done by the large emitters, the large polluters. And what we've done there is tightening the carbon market, creating a new system where they are paying for emission reductions of households, so a positive incentive there, reinforcing investment tax credit and other element approaches to drive that clean energy investment. Remember, 80% of final emission reduction comes from final demand for energy, so it matters what happens in the energy system. We're driving that. Last point, we're looking to double the home building, but we're looking to double home building in a way that those new homes are emitting 20% less in the construction of those homes, and those new homes are much more climate efficient when they're built. So you can say that's not a climate plan, because it's a home building plan, it's a plan for affordability. Both of those things are true. It's a plan that's targeted at younger Canadians, but it's a plan that's building an entire Canadian industry that is far more.
God, what a fraud it is. It doesn't even affect emissions. Who cares? Be poor. Trump demands repeal of UK hate speech laws for trade deal. Really? What have you talked about aardvarks in America? You're going to El Salvador Supermax prison. The Trump administration is reportedly pushing for the repeal of Britain's hate speech laws. Really, it's none of our business. We shouldn't be meddling. If they want to be tyrannical maniacs and say you can't say anything and arrest you for a post on Facebook, that's their sovereign country, allegedly. Let them do it. I thought they were actually the ones running everything, so I have a hard time believing that any of this is even true. But the report goes on to say this condition has sparked discussion and controversy among social media users, with some viewing it as an American challenge to British sovereignty, while others see it as a fight for free speech. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Fabian Socialist, faces pressure regarding whether to adjust laws protecting groups like the LGBTQ plus community in exchange for economic benefits. Is it protecting them, really? We saw the Dow Jones Industrial Average lose almost 700 points today. Here's the graph so we could see to get an illustration of the last month here. And you can see when the tariffs were announced, we freaking fell off a cliff here and went steady down. And then we saw the rebound. You can see the rebound and then back down again today. So anyway, I thought this is quite striking when you look at it like this. You know what I'm saying? But don't worry. All the insiders made $1 billion because they had foreknowledge of the Trump administration policy proposals. So as long as they're rich and we're poor, it's all good, right? U.S. slaps 245% tariffs on Chinese goods. Let's put that headline up. That's China's now facing tariffs of up to 245% on exports to the United States, according to the White House fact sheet, in response to its retaliatory trade measures. The move follows Beijing's directive to Chinese airlines to suspend further deliveries of Boeing aircraft, as reported on yesterday, a reaction to U.S. imposing 145% tariffs on Chinese imports, as reported last week. Yeah, it's getting crazy. 245%? Okay. I guess we're going to see how this sorts out. Maybe it's just a negotiating tactic again by Trump. I don't know. Pretty wild, though. That high of tariffs. Okay. Looks like we're going in a full-blown trade war. U.S. targets China's trade routes through global talks. The United States is planning to leverage tariff negotiations with over 70 countries to isolate China economically. This strategy involves requesting these countries to prevent Chinese goods from being shipped through their territories and to restrict Chinese companies from setting up operations within their borders to circumvent U.S. tariffs. These discussions are part of a broader geopolitical strategy aimed at managing international trade dynamics. I'd say that's we're in the trade war with China now. Japan came to America today and thanked us for dropping the atom bomb on them during World War II, allegedly. No, they came here actually to negotiate trade. Japan agreed to enter into negotiations with the United States for a new trade deal. President Donald Trump, along with key officials, including the Treasury and Commerce secretaries, are set to participate in these discussions. The talks aim to address tariffs, the cost of military support, and the trade fairness between the two nations. And if Japan doesn't like it, we'll just drop an atom bomb on them again, right? Rubio terminates State Department's disinformation unit. Good, but do we believe that the government's not still censoring, manipulating, social engineering, and mind controlling the populace? No, I still think that's their program. But this program, after being thoroughly exposed, has been dissolved. Little Marco, U.S. Secretary of State, announced the closure of the State Department's office known as the Counter Foreign Information Manipulation and Interference R/FIMI, previously the Global Engagement Center, GEC. The office, which has been tracking and countering disinformation from foreign entities, has been criticized for potentially infringing on free speech rights. Well, not potentially, they did. They did. Sorry, the cat threw off my camera there. Rubio's decision to disband the unit reflects a significant policy shift aimed at protecting free speech while possibly impacting national security efforts against foreign disinformation. Really? Still, no one gets in trouble. We're still waiting here. Will be that meme of the skeleton at the keyboard, still waiting for someone in the government for all the crimes against us, fraud, violation of our natural rights, of our constitutional rights, our civil rights, our human rights, just infinity crime against us. No one gets in trouble from the government. We're that internet meme of the skeleton at the keyboard waiting. Trump's proposal to eliminate Head Start sparks outrage. I'm outraged. These kids are going to get cut off from indoctrination too early in life and may be able to think for themselves. God forbid, I know. Recent discussions on the interwebs highlight concerns over the Trump administration proposal to eliminate the Head Start program, which provides early education, health, and nutrition services to children from low-income families. Target the most vulnerable first. That's eugenics. Number one theme here. This policy could potentially affect over 1 million families nationwide, with particular impacts noted on regions like Yakima, Washington, New York State. Advocates argue that such cuts are part of a broader strategy to reduce government spending on social programs, potentially affecting thousands of Head Start centers and classrooms. Kids are probably better off running the streets than going to these calming indoctrination centers. Honestly, it's that bad. Trump administration to end IRS direct file program. Well, hell, we should end the IRS altogether. The Trump administration has decided to terminate the IRS direct file program, which allowed taxpayers to file their taxes directly with the government for free. The decision comes despite the program's success in its initial rollout across 25 states and has sparked criticism for favoring private tax preparation companies at the expense of taxpayer convenience and savings. Taxation theft, right, Barry? So end individual income tax. And as the documentary played yesterday, thoroughly exposed America Freedom to Fascism. There is no law, right? There is no law. But these men, IRS agents with guns, will show up at your house. Did we have that report? Did I miss it? Anyway, they're talking about, there you go. There's a bill being proposed by Barry Moore, U.S. Representative, Congressman out of Alabama, to disarm the IRS. Well, that's not enough. We need to abolish it, end it all. But to disarm them, that's those men with guns that will eventually show up at your front door. If you want to fight them too hard on paying your federal taxes, regardless of the fact of the matter that it's voluntary, right? Men with guns will eventually show up at your front door. Now they're phasing that out, and it'll be a drone Terminator robot soon. But Barry Moore is proposing legislation to disarm the IRS agents that carry firearms. Not all do, but the field agents do indeed. Shifting any necessary law enforcement roles to the Justice Department. So, whoop-de-frickin-do. Another government goon. If it says IRS on his jacket or DOJ, he's got a gun in your face taking your money. Does it make a friggin' difference? Not really. But anyway, that legislation's being proposed. Gary Shapley is set to lead the IRS as the interim director. Gary Shapley, previously known for his whistleblowing activities regarding the Hunter Biden tax investigation, is expected to be appointed as acting commissioner of the IRS by Trump. This move is perceived by some as a significant development in IRS leadership. Well, if this guy has any integrity, why the hell do you even work for him anymore? How about that, Mr. Shipley? Oh, because you're a power-hungry sociopath. Oh, I see. Thank you very much. Here he is, too, by the way. So you're so disgusted by the treatment of Hunter Biden's tax case that you blew the whistle, but you decided to stay on and work with the agency to reform it from within, I see. Trump threatens to revoke Harvard's tax-exempt status one day after Garber rejects demands. And so they're pulling the funding. Now they're talking about what hell? Pull all their tax-exempt status. They got like billion dollar endowment, over billions, right? Billions and billions. And so they really need our tax money there. They should be paying taxes. What the hell? What the hell, man? So, yeah, revoke all of their tax-exempt status, damn it. They're complicit in the whole, them and every other university are complicit in the whole student loan scam, putting all these young kids into debt before they even know what the hell's going on with their financial life, right? Yeah. And then having freaking whoever, last go around was Democrat Biden administration, but don't think the Republicans wouldn't pull the same stunt. Anyway, using their debt as political leverage for votes, saying, oh, we're going to forgive it, and then lying about it and duping them one more time. And so introducing youth of college age into adulthood, that is nothing but scams and lies. Very nice. Very nice for the future America. Very adult behavior by predatory lenders. facilitated by said universities. Truly disgusting all the way around. Revoke all of their tax-exempt statuses for that alone, for being complicit in freaking predatory student loan fraud. How about that idea? Federal workers gain legal defense amid Doge layoffs. I know, I was upset too. I was like, who's going to defend the loser feds that don't even show up for work and just are little parasites on the taxpayer's neck, on everybody's neck, that think they're better than us and laugh. They never forget, these people laughed in our face during the lockdown and said, you're not essential. Well, they sat at home, didn't work, and collected fat paychecks and benefit packages. These scumbags. No sympathy at all from me. The Rise Up Federal Workers Legal Defense Network has been launched by multiple organizations, including the union AFL-CIO, Democrat Forward, or Democracy Forward, and others, to provide free legal support to federal workers. This initiative responds to the alleged mass firings by an entity associated with, they messed this report up, by Doge, essentially recommended by Doge, to ensure that federal employees understand their rights and have access to pro bono legal representation. Thank you for taking care of the loser federal workers. I don't know what we would do without you. Pure garbage. Continuing here, Vance proposes rethinking due process for immigrant trials. You guys know I'm a hardliner on immigration, but we do need to follow due process here on illegal immigration. J.D. Vance, Mr. Black Eyeliner, has sparked a nationwide debate by suggesting that the enforcement of due process might need to be reconsidered due to the overwhelming number of illegal aliens entering the country under the Biden administration. Vance's remarks made on the interwebs imply that the legal system's capacity to handle jury trials for all the cases is being stretched too thin, leading to discussions on legal rights, constitutional integrity, and the practicality of law enforcement. J.D. Vance said, consider that Joe Biden, the Biden administration, allowed approximately 20 million illegal aliens into our country. This placed extraordinary burdens on our country, our schools, hospitals, housing, and other essential services, where we're overwhelmed. I think it's more than 20 million even. It just goes on, all the problems of illegal immigration. Yeah, well, they still got to afford them due process. Militarize the border. Be careful what you wish for. No due process. Deported to El Salvador Supermax prison. No criticism of Aardvark land whatsoever. Get it, got it, good. DOJ challenges Maine. This is another trigger warning, so watch out if you're sensitive. You may want to cover your transgender children's ears. DOJ challenges Maine's transgender sports inclusion policy. The DOJ, under Bondi, never arrested anyone in the government or released the Epstein files, has launched a civil lawsuit against Maine Department of Education. The contention arises from Maine's policies, which allows transgender athletes to participate in sports aligned with their gender identity, a practice the DOJ claims violates Title 10, designated to prevent sex-based discrimination in educational settings. Doesn't the whole transgender thing feel like a big psyop distraction now? As I believe, again, don't do it to the kids. Once you're 18, do whatever the hell you want. Don't charge me for it. That's freedom. I feel bad for you. I don't think it's right. But hey, if If you're 18, a consenting adult, do whatever the hell you want. Don't put me in the middle of it. Don't distract me with this nonsense. Okay. Here, I think we got to take this with a grain of salt, but I do believe it is interesting, to say the least. White House reveals tech to manipulate time and space. Michael Kartsios, director of the White House Office of Science and Technology, recently made remarks suggesting U.S. technological capabilities include the ability to manipulate time and space. What? These statements were part of a broader discussion on technological advancement and policy, where he criticized the stagnation in various transport technologies since the 1970s due to regulatory constraints. We constantly harp on this show with Thomas from Alpha Mega Energy, how they've suppressed over 4,000 different innovative breakthrough technologies and went ahead and seized them and not allowed them to disrupt the marketplace, the status quo. Let's hear a listen from this guy. What do you have to say about it?
Passenger planes are slower than they used to be. Trains crawl compared to those in other parts of the world. Our cars do not fly. Advances have not stopped, but something has gone wrong. Stagnation was a choice. We have weighed down our builders and innovators. The well-intentioned regulatory regime of the 1970s became an ever-tightening ratchet, first hampering America's ability to become a net energy exporter and then making it harder and harder to build. We seem to have lost focus and vision, to have lowered our sights and let systems and structures and bureaucracies muddle us along. But we are capable of so much more. Our technologies permit us to manipulate time and space. They leave distance annihilated, cause things to grow and improve productivity. And bureaucracies muddle us along. But we are capable of so much more. Our technologies permit us to manipulate time and space. They leave distance annihilated, cause things to grow and improve productivity.
That's pretty wild, man. But he says the 70s regulation regime was well-intentioned, was it? Didn't that allow them to create this breakaway civilization where they're 50 years advanced from the rest of us? I believe it did. And why are they floating this out there now? We have to ask all these questions. Manipulate time and space, they say. Or he said. I don't know, man. I don't know. We know they have a bunch of secret technology. Why are they telling us now? You know, I believe anything they tell us is to create a narrative, to start a psyop. So they're not going to tell us the truth, man. And they're not well-intentioned, and they never were well-intentioned. Coincidentally enough, after that announcement, an explosion destroys Northrop Grumman building in Utah. An explosion at Northrop Grumman facility in Utah has resulted in the total destruction of one of its buildings. The incident occurred early this morning, Wednesday morning, with the structure still on fire afterwards. No, we don't know what caused it. Could it have been the manipulation of time and space? I don't know. Of course, they're a big military-industrial complex company. Who knows what the hell they're doing? Up to no good, though, that's for sure. Blowing up their own buildings. Okay. The swatting incident. This is extremely concerning. Cheryl Atkinson, aforementioned, I think one of the top, if not the top investigative journalists in America. Government has attacked her going for like 20 years, man. She used to be at CBS, like top, right? They fired her there. Government spied on her. They planted child porn on her husband's computer. They freaking stalked her. They did all this BS, right? Gang stalked her. I don't know if they gang stalked her, but they were like intimidating her through surveillance. Like there's men in freaking black SUVs following you around and that kind of crap, right? And all kind of other harassment that we don't even know about. Anyway, she was swatted yesterday, and she says, we'll go right to her post here. She says that I reported the swatting of my house to local FBI, and they were like, hey, we didn't know if anybody will call you back, but maybe they will, maybe not. I hope they do. They need to gather the info because they didn't ask for the screenshot of the swatting text I have or the pizza delivery emails or other stuff, and said they didn't need the local police case number. So a lot of help from the reformed Cash Patel, Dan Bongino FBI there on a essentially attempted murder when they send the SWAT team after you on false pretenses. So that's quite horrific. Okay. Quietly now. Turns out that we cured the bat disease and it's very quiet. CDC weighing in to universal bat disease miracles recommendations. I guess it's cured. This is a report out of CBS. What do I know? I'm not a biologist. You see there, CBS News. Maybe they'll be censored for reporting this. I don't know. A majority of the Center for Disease Control and Prevention's work group on bat disease miracles now supports ending the agency's medical intervention area recommendations for virtually all Americans to get the miracles against the bat disease each year. Officials said Tuesday. So I guess it's over. It's cured. We won. We beat the bats. Very underreported with little fanfare here now. That's where we're at. We'll talk tomorrow about it in great depth with California Health Department whistleblower. Don't miss that show. It's going to be a great one. Our friend and mine and yours, the World Health Organization, has finalized pandemic accord without U.S. participation. I don't know. What are we going to do? The World Health Organization has successfully concluded a draft pandemic accord after over 3 years of negotiations in Geneva. This accord aims to enhance global preparedness for future pandemics through coordinated action among its 194 member states. Notably, the United States has withdrawn from the World Health Organization and did not participate in this agreement, setting it apart from the international consensus. But what's going to happen once Trump's out of there? I'll jump right back in the WHO and hey, guess what? You're under the pandemic accord. Thank you very much for keeping us safe. Know what I mean? So kind of big news. I think those last two stories are big freaking news and just flying under the radar very quietly here. So that happened. Okay. On to, shout out to our man in Canada, our unpaid co-producer, Barry. And he was at this town hall quasi debate. We're going to play first Jody Ledgerwood, who we had on the show last week, running for MP there in Canada. Don't forget to vote this Friday there in Canada. Let's play here now a question about climate change and what are we to do about all this evil carbon dioxide. And then we'll go to a clip from Barry.
In our atmosphere causes about 60% of what carbon dioxide does. Why are people not discussing methane and other chemicals as far as global warming is concerned?
Jody? So much like yourself, I am concerned about the quality of our soil and our water and the air that we breathe. I've watched our trees and our vegetation die off, and I'm looking at, I have gardens that I have at home, and I noticed last year when we were building our wall of painting and we had to dig 10 feet into the ground, I didn't see any worms. I didn't see any crickets, I didn't see any June bugs, I didn't see the normal paraphernalia of insects that you would typically find in the ground. And that is very concerning, and I believe that that has something to do with the cloud seeding that's going on. I've been watching some documentaries with regards to cloud seeding, chemtrails, and I discovered that our Canadian government, and you can go onto the Canadian federal government website and put in geoengineering, cloud seeding, chemtrails, and you will find all kinds of patents that our government has with regards to these chemicals that they're actually spraying on us. And if you start looking up at the skies, they no longer look like they did when I was a child. We don't have big white fluffy clouds anymore and nice blue skies. And the contrails that we used to see, which is water vapor that evaporates in the sky after several seconds, we're not seeing that anymore. What we're seeing is crisscross patterns in our skies, and I actually sat outside in my backyard one day and I recorded what I was seeing. It took 7 minutes for what most people think are a contrail to actually spread across our skies and cover the sun. 7 minutes. That is not a contrail. Why is our government not talking about this? Why are they hiding this information from us? And perhaps this is why our vegetation is dying and our farmers' fields are not producing what they used to. I'm watching these documentaries and they're talking about the aluminum and the barium and many other chemicals that are getting soaked not only in our water supply, but also in our soil. Something needs to be done about it, and further investigation needs to be done. So I agree with you, sir. We are seeing other issues besides carbon.
Yeah, I do notice this woman particularly just laughing about it. So I guess she likes the old, I think she likes the old aluminum toxicity in her diet. She thinks it's a funny thing. Here, this woman right here. Oh, she's not even on the screen anymore. But you guys saw their faces. As Barry is pointing out, yeah, it's pretty funny, huh? But I think we're learning more information here now. You guys need to go back and take a look at that interview I did with Jim Lee. And I think that it's actually, I'm agreeing with Jim Lee more and more that we've been misled, let's just say, that it is indeed contrails, and it's all admitted. And we need to be campaigning against the toxic exhaust because they changed the jet fuel formulation. I forget what year, like right when everybody started noticing it, like 1998. But Jim Lee lays it all out, and I think I have to agree with him. And we've been led astray and caused people like this gray-haired woman here to laugh and snicker at us when we say chemtrails, when we should be saying, hey, not that the government, not that they don't have secret government programs that do geoengineer, but I believe it is commercial air traffic, and it's the exhaust from the planes, as Jim Lee explains. And so we should be campaigning to put kind of the converters on them, reform the jet fuel, something, because all the tests that they've done line up with the test of the toxic heavy metals and other toxins that people find in their rain collection and in the soil and so on. And then say, well, look, this is proof the government's spraying us. Well, They are, but they're not spraying us. It's just simply the large majority, not to say there's not secret government geoengineering programs, but I'm saying, I'm agreeing with Jim Lee here and saying the large majority that we see are from jet fuel exhaust. But that needs to be regulated and stopped. So it's essentially, we're fighting the same thing. You know what I mean? We're just saying, I'm just agreeing with Jim Lee and saying that it's not all chemtrail spraying. Anyway, that's where I'm at on the whole debate here now. But she likes, she'll probably have Alzheimer's before we know it with aluminum in the brain. She loves it. So good for her. Okay, on to Barry, what everybody's been waiting for. Let's hear what Barry had to say at this meeting.
And maybe we won't get one at all if we stay on them.
Okay. We have about 10 minutes left, so we'll probably do 2 or 3 more questions. And we have one here.
Got one here?
Yeah. Bob?
Okay. Let's do this one first.
So Jody beat me to the punch, which is fantastic. So I'm sure she'll have another minute or two to add to this. So this is something for all the candidates. We all have eyes, and we all need water, and we all need air. And so since this is a kind of a climate-focused debate, I'm going to go right back to the chemtrail thing. The world has been waking up. People are seeing the nonsense and the crisscross patterns in the sky, blotting out the sun. It's not a conspiracy, it's a reality, because we all have eyes. So that being said, whereas the United States have started banning chemtrails in the States, you can't ban something that doesn't exist. I mean, it's taken decades.
It's funny, these two ladies right here, they act like I guess they don't have eyes and have never looked up at the sky and wondered, hey, it is odd they're blocking out the sun. And like I said before, I do believe there are government programs, but I believe the large majority is commercial air traffic. Anyway, they never look up apparently, and they like the sun being blocked out by whatever it's caused by. It is indeed happening. It's happening. There's no mistake about that, but they like it, and they like the aluminum toxicity as well, apparently. These two nutbags right here.
For us to get this far. So if the states are banning chemtrails, and like Jody said, nobody else is talking about it in the current government, and we're listening to all the rhetoric and all the talking points with the climate, you wonder why your soils are crappy, and you wonder why your water tables are crappy, and you wonder why your brain fog is happening. You know, there's a lot of reasons for that. What is each candidate's response to chemtrails? Are you going to admit that they exist, and what are you going to do to get rid of them? Because if you don't admit they exist, and the states do.
The question's on the table. Let them answer it if they choose. Anyone like to go first, John?
Yeah, well, the Christian Heritage Party specifically opposes the attempt to dim the planet by reducing natural sunlight. It's not very well known. Apparently, this, and tell you the honest truth, until 3 days ago when I read this, I knew nothing about it. So.
Well, I like it. At least he is honest, right? And says that he's against it. What? You have to be literally in Bill Gates level insane to be for this. I guess these two ladies are on that level of insanity. I don't know.
Oh boy. But we would oppose any of those kind of measures. We believe that God's made the planet in a way that allows sunlight and all the other different elements of the atmosphere to properly deal with soil and conditions and all that kind of stuff. And when we start doing stuff like this, we're really stepping into areas that maybe it's possible, but we got to really look at the ethics of it and realize that because it's possible doesn't mean we should do it.
So. Anyone else want to respond? Quickly, Jody, because you've got
Very quickly, I'll just say, with the water table and what's happening in the skies, I'm on a well. I've been a well owner since I was 15 years old, so water is very important to me. And I did notice, and I don't know if anybody else here is on a well, but if you are, start looking at your filters that are on your water supply that comes in. Because my water filters used to be an orangey color, and that's when it told me they needed to be changed because rust and iron in my water. Well, now my water filters are black. And they're black because of manganese. And manganese is one of the chemicals that they're spraying out of the planes. So I do agree something needs to be done. We need to stop our government from spraying and hurting our water supplies and our soil.
Thank you.
All the environmental parties don't want to talk about it?
I get really worried when a politician who stands a good chance of being elected says, vote for me, I'm going to cut your taxes. Because it misses a huge something important. If taxes get cut, and we're already in a deficit situation, what is going to get cut to pay for those taxes? In the past, it's been healthcare, it's been education, and a whole bunch of other things that people need. Support, it's been support for affordable housing. So I ask those people here who speak about tax cuts, where are they going to get the money and what are they going to get cut to afford those tax cuts, pay for those tax cuts?
I did not know one. And I will tell you that after, in all seriousness, after 10 years of this past.
That was it, Barry? The other ones didn't even answer the question. I wanted to hear these two smirkers here answer it. But they shifted the taxes. But she's like the stereotypical, this is like the meme, stereotypical meme right here of the liberal. This one right here. With the Stanley Cup. Right? Anyway. Indeed, Barry. Indeed. Who came in there? Amnesty? Amnesty. Yeah, we reported on that stuff. Amnesty yesterday. I think it was yesterday, yeah. They're fast-tracking. Trump administration fast-tracking the mRNA for H5N1. Yeah, we reported on that yesterday. And what else? And Karen said it ties into the digital IDs. Yeah, well, it all ties together. It's a conspiracy. So yeah, all these dots connect to the scientific dictatorship technocracy. Indeed, they do. Thank you to Jody, Ledgerwood, and Barry for putting that stuff out there, at least getting people to think about it, putting the idea out there. I don't think anybody can deny that they're blocking out the sun. Whether you want to say it's 100% chemtrail spraying, contrails, chemtrails. I think we're having a problem with our semantics because it's openly admitted. I understand there's government programs. You have the patents. You have the programs. I understand all that. Weather manipulation, 100%. But I think it's even bigger than that is what I'm getting at. So I think both things are happening at the same time. Okay. And it all needs to be stopped because we don't need our sun blocked out, for God's sake. And all the toxicity that comes along with it. I think, honestly, we would be better campaigning against airline pollution and be taken a lot better than saying the government is spraying chemtrails on us. That's just my opinion now. I've changed my opinion over the years here now of following this trend of blocking out the sun. Okay, we got a couple more stories before we wrap up the show today. On to the international news. This is quite shocking. Not really, because we've seen reports over the years of it again. But another report of it, humanitarian lawyer and former aid worker Andrew McLeod exposes UN security personnel trafficking young girls and keeping them in cages as sex slaves. Allegations, he says, were known and ignored by top UN officials for years. Let's watch this short clip.
This is not a conspiracy. This is the new Jimmy Savile. UN security staff trafficked 14 and 15-year-old girls out of Moldova into Bosnia during the war, chained them up in a nightclub for the exclusive use of UN staff.
What do you mean that chained them where?
In cages in the nightclub. They were sex slaves trafficked by UN staff. Certain aid workers prevented families from entering refugee camps unless they handed over a child for sexual favours.
So you can go on the record and say that the UN knew about
Oh,
this,
yeah.
and they were covering it up?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you think this goes all the way to the top?
Yes. When there is a pandemic going on that is spread by bodily fluids, WHO staff, World Health Organization staff, are abusing women in Eastern Congo. The people who know this best are the women on the ground. There are now protests in Eastern Congo with women saying, please, UN, leave. You were supposed to bring us peace. You were supposed to bring us security. You did not bring us peace, and you raped us. Can you please leave? Mark Zuckerberg should go to jail. Trump is a funny beast. My DNA shows that I'm his fourth cousin once removed via his mother, Mary Ann McLeod. All right, I'm going to say something publicly, and this is the first time I'm saying it to anyone.
That's a wild clip right there. Watch out for the UN peacekeepers when they come to help. Okay. Ukraine extends martial law amidst criticism and ongoing war. The Ukrainian parliament has extended both martial law and general mobilization until August 6, 2025 to keep the war going here. And so Zelensky's an unelected dictator here now, going on over a year without an election. The greatest democracy in Europe, Ukraine, not even part of Europe, who cares? It is. The decision was supported by a significant majority with 357 votes for the extension of martial law and 346 for continued mobilization. What do you even say to it, man? In the freaking war, we've been calling for peace. Who knows? One day it looks like they're going to have peace. The next day it looks like, nah. Ixnay on the peace. I don't know. I'm praying for peace there. Stop killing people. Both sides are bad. But Putin especially bad. We 100% hate Putin, of course, YouTube. But we halfway like him on X because he said that Elon Musk is a genius, right? No, but seriously, they need to stop killing people there in the Ukraine-Russia war. They're killing all the Ukrainians, for God's sake. They've already wiped out a generation of Ukrainian men, young men there. So stop it. Okay. On to the Atomic Energy Agency, International Atomic Energy Agency Director General visited Tehran to engage in discussions with Iranian Foreign Minister about their nuclear program in Iran. And that is what's causing all the saber rattling from America, and Aardvark land, talking about how we need to attack them before they have nukes, right? Preemptive strike. The same routine. They're going to get us, the boogeyman Iran, if we don't preemptively strike them, which of course would cause a larger regional conflict and potentially kick off a World War III, hot World War III. And so we don't want that. We want peace. We want them to sort something out with their nuclear program. Step in the right direction, dare I say, with the International Atomic Energy Agency meeting there in Tehran today. Okay, let's hear. I think this is an old clip, but it's worth playing again from a American woman, American veteran, talking about the war over there in Aardvark land. It's quite horrific, and the killing of civilians, children.
We have technology that we can see exactly who's in these locations and buildings. So they're targeting and bombing homes knowing who and how many children were actually inside. My name is Josephine Gilbo. I'm a 17-year Army veteran. I recently got out of the military last year. Having that background as an intelligence officer and understanding what defense actually is, I can see clearly that this is not self-defense. The civilian casualties is catastrophic. They're targeting homes filled with children. The elite that sit in Capitol Hill sit there and lie over and over and over. I just want to highlight one of the biggest awakenings that I think I've had the last few weeks coming here and lobbying with the senators and the congressmen is just how corrupt our government is. And that anyone that's in the military is simply just one chess piece that they use at their leisure for their own internal gain to protect their own internal assets and money.
To paraphrase Henry Kissinger, military men are dumb, stupid animals, cannon fodder. Very sad indeed. I think this is an old one too, but worth replaying. Any other country, there'd be friggin' riots in the streets, federal investigations, and the like. But you'd have your CIA media jumping up and down. But aardvarks, hey, they basically were one and the same. Let's take a tour through the halls of Congress and tell me what you notice here. Strikingly sticking out. I had to turn off the sound there. They'll flag us for copyright. I don't know who owns that music. Somebody will claim copyright on it. Anyway, I'll narrate for you here. This guy, Brian Mast, is a piece of work. Him too, Fetterman. And what even happened to Fetterman? Is this even the real Fetterman? Is this a freaking body double clone drone robot? We don't know. He looked different after he allegedly had a stroke and came back. Remember that? I know. God forbid. So, you don't even need to see that video. It's striking, though. All the aardvark support. Go to APAC X page, and they openly brag about it. It's all public. It's a public conspiracy for you there. Okay, even British aardvarks have had enough. They seem to be having a crisis of conscience as well. The BBC here reports. Let me put it on the screen. Members of British aardvark body condemn aardvark lands Gaza offensive. Even they've had enough. Dozens of members of the largest body representing aardvarks in the UK have condemned aardvark land's government for the heartbreaking war in Gaza. In an open letter published in the Financial Times, 36 members of the Board of Deputies of British aardvarks said they cannot turn a blind eye or remain silent at the renewed loss of life and livelihoods as a result of aardvark land's renewed offensive in Gaza. The letter is the first show of opposition to the Gaza war by some members of the board, made up of more than 300 deputies. Continuing here, as we reported from the beginning, now coming to fruition, they said it was all fake, conspiracy. Now AP's reporting it, I don't know, a year and a half later. Here you go. I need new conspiracy theories because all of mine came true. Aardvark land says it will keep troops in Gaza, Lebanon, and Syria indefinitely. What does that mean? It means they're taking that land is what it means. Security zones are set up by the Aardvarks. It means they took all that land, and it is a real estate redevelopment program for the Greater Aardvark Land Project. As we reported from day one of this whole debacle, carving them up into more easily manageable genocidal areas, kill zones, kill boxes. And now we're at the point where they're telling them either leave or die. And you'll probably die anyway on the way out. And so that's where we're at with the whole thing as America cheers it on. There you go. As America and Trump cheer it on. There you go. Last story of the day. The International Criminal Court, ICC, has initiated proceedings against Hungary under Article 87.7 for failing to arrest Aardvark Prime Minister, your savior and mine, Bibi Netanyahu, during his visit. Hungary is required to submit its response to the ICC by May 29th this year, addressing the accusations of non-compliance with an ICC arrest request. Public reactions vary. Well, it's showing what good is are any of these international bodies, the UN, the ICC, ICJ, if countries can just pick and choose. We've seen the same, to be fair, we've seen the same with Putin as well. He has warrants for his arrest too, for war crimes, and countries pick and choose. Well, I guess we're not going to enforce that. So it's like, I thought we were in a rules-based international order. That's what they beat us over the head with. But yeah, they were picking and choosing who we enforce it on, who we don't. So all these international bodies are losing their legitimacy if no one will enforce their rulings here. And that's what they're hopping mad about, as they should be. But hey, don't be an anti-Aardvark, or you may wind up in an El Salvador Supermax prison very soon. So that's all we got for today on your Weaponized News broadcast. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Got a couple comments here. Yeah, it was jet fuel, believed the 9/11 Commission report, and it was Saddam Hussein, and it was Iraq and Afghanistan, and we got the bad guys, so don't you guys worry about it, all right? Thank you guys for joining us on this Wednesday edition of Weaponized News. I think we covered quite a lot. I think the big stories of the day that went under the radar were actually the CDC admitting they're no longer going to recommend Miracle for the bat disease on an annual basis. I think that's pretty big news, very quietly reported here. And the other big news is the World Health Organization pandemic accord has been finalized. I think that's pretty big news that everybody was jumping up and down about for the last 3 years. Well, it's now come to fruition. And as I said, even though the United States is not part of it now, it could easily become part of it again in the future. So keep a lookout for that. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this Wednesday edition of Weaponized News. As always, everybody, do your own research. Peace, love, and liberty. Speak out and take action. Have a great rest of your evening. Reminder again, tomorrow will be a very special edition, not on YouTube, because they don't like what we got to say about this issue, but we do have an insider. Let me go to his bio. We have Mr. Ronald Owens Jr., a whistleblower from the California Department of Public Health, who worked all the way up to the end of 2023, saw all the comings and goings from the inside about the medical intervention period. He's coming here tomorrow to tell us his story. And so it's going to be very informative right from the source, man, about the source of tyranny during the medical intervention period here in California. And so I do believe it will be a blockbuster. Tune in on everywhere except for YouTube. We'll try to broadcast it on Facebook. We'll see what they do over there. I'm taking the risk to put it on Facebook for you, the listening audience. But it'll be on every other Weaponized News channel. Odysee, Bitchute, Rumble, X, Facebook, Twitch, Kick. So tune in tomorrow for that very special Weaponized News broadcast. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. And we'll see you back here tomorrow on the Thursday edition of Weaponized News.